Ya Ribon, Ya Ribon Olam, Ve'omaya Antu Malka, Melech Malchaya.
Hi, I wanted to welcome you to this week's Taste of Shavuot video. Just like a taste of Shabbat, you'll get a little bit of what it would be like if we were able to come back together as a community to celebrate. But this week for Shavuot, you'll have music from Chazan Kavari, words of wisdom from Rabbi Grover, a Yizkor service, music from our incredible Beth Tikva choir, as well as a reading of the 10 Commandments from our ritual director, Irv. Before we begin, I just want to share a brief thought on what Shavuot is all about. Many people question, why do we need two holidays about the Torah? One like Shavuot when we celebrate receiving Torah, and another like Simchat Torah where we celebrate the Torah itself. The Maggid of Dubno, a famous Jewish storyteller, he shares the story teaching that it's like a prince who marries his bride sight unseen. It's an arranged marriage. The day of the wedding, while it's a celebration in ways, it's also him being nervous, afraid, scared of what he might find out about her, unsure about the future. It's only later, after he's gotten to know her, that he can really celebrate. And in the same way, Shavuot remembers that. The moment our ancestors first received the Torah, they had no idea what was in it, but they accepted it wholeheartedly, excited, nervous, ready to learn the Torah's ways, seek wisdom in it. And it's only later they were able to celebrate really what a gift it was. Once they learned all it could give to them, all it could offer, the guidance, the comfort. So this week, as we begin a taste of Shavuot, I want us to go back to that mindset, to recognize that this is just a taste. This is just the beginning. This isn't an end to our celebrating. This isn't an end to our learning, but it's a beginning. It's an ongoing process. Because Shavuot isn't a culmination of anything. It's a beginning of a journey. And it's a journey we're all walking on, each and every Jew and each and every generation. So as you grow on your personal journey, we hope that we can grow with you. Chag Sameach.
Yismechu v'malechutecha, Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg, Yismechu v'malechutecha, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg, Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg, Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg, Amekadeshei Shevi, Amekadeshei Shevi, Kulam yizme'u ve'yitangu mitu v'cha, Shomrei Shabbat, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg, Chemdat yamim oto karata zecher lemase bereshit, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg, Shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg.
In just a moment, our ritual director, Irv, is going to read for you the 10 Commandments. The rabbis were very unsure about this, because on the one hand, the 10 Commandments are so central, but at the same time, the rabbis didn't want to give the appearance that these mitzvot were any more important than any others. But it's interesting when you look at the mitzvot that made it into the list, these 10, they really represent a wide cross-section. You have mitzvot between man and God, mitzvot between us and our families, and mitzvot between human beings and simply other human beings. Some of the rules cover thought, some cover action, and some cover our speech. And it's a cross-section of all the different types of mitzvot there are, which is what makes these so central. And on Shavuot, we stand as we hear their words, just as our ancestors stood at Mount Sinai, excited, ready to receive God's word, ready to receive God's laws, looking to them for guidance and comfort. And may we all have a little bit of that as we turn it over now to Irv to read us the 10 Commandments.
Anochi Adonai Elohecha, Asher hotzetecha me'eretz Mitzrayim mibeit avadim, lo yeh lecha Elohim acherim al panai, lo taseh lecha fesel v'chol tmuna, asher bashamayim mimal, vasher ba'aretz mitacha, vasher b'mayim mitacha la'aretz, lo tishtachaveh lahem v'lo ta'ovdem, ki anochi Adonai Elohecha Elkanah poked avon avod abanim al shileshim v'aribeim l'sonai ve'oseh chesed l'alafim l'avai u'l'shomerei mitzvotai. Lo tisa et shem Adonai Elohecha lashav, ki lo yinakeh Adonai et asher yisad shemo lashav. Zachor et yom HaShabbat lekadesho, sheshet yamim tavo vasita chom lachtecha v'yom hashvi'i Shabbat l'Adonai Elohecha, lo taseh chom lacha ata uvincha v'itecha avdecha v'amatecha v'emtecha Megerecha asher bisharecha ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz v'et hayam v'et kol asher ba'am v'yanach v'yom hashvi'i al ken beirach Adonai et yom HaShabbat vayikadeshehu. Kabed avicha v'imecha leman yarichun yamecha al adama asher na'alecha noten lach. Lo tirtzach, lo tinaf, lo tignov, lo tanev re'acha et shaker. Lo tachmod beit re'echa, lo tachmod eshet re'echa. V'avdo v'amato v'shoro v'chamoro v'chol asher l're'echa.
V'karif Ezoreinu, ay, 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 ben hagoyim. Unefutzoteinu kanes, kanes miyarketei aretz. V'karif Ezoreinu, ay, 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 ben hagoyim. Unefutzoteinu kanes, kanes miyarketei aretz. Unefutzoteinu kanes, kanes, unefutzoteinu kanes, kanes, unefutzoteinu kanes, kanes miyarketei aretz. nefutzoteinu, kanes, kanes, unefutzoteinu, kanes, kanes, unefutzoteinu, kanes, kanes, miyarkete aretz. B'nei beitcha kevatchila, kevatchila. וכונן מקדשך על מכונו, והבאנו בבניינו, ושמחנו בתיקונו, ושמחנו בתיקונו, והרינו בבניינו, ושמחנו בתיקונו, ושמחנו בתיקונו. והרינו בבניינו, ושמחנו בתיקונו. והרינו בבניינו, ושמחנו בתיקונו, והרינו בבניינו, ושמחנו בתיקונו, ושמחנו בתיקונו.
The oldest provincial park in Ontario and the first provincial park in Canada is a park many of us are familiar with. It's Algonquin Provincial Park. I remember my own family making visits once in a while to Algonquin. As a kid, my parents wanted to show me what they had come to appreciate about the park. Its maple-treed hills, its rocky ridges, its thousands of lakes. My parents knew the park really well and conveyed that sense of appreciation for its beauty. And I think today Algonquin Park stands as one of the great jewels of our province. Where did Algonquin Park come from? Well, it was established in 1893, but the idea for the park was proposed a full decade earlier. And it didn't come from a governor general or from a prime minister or from a premier, which is probably why it took so long for the idea to come to fruition. It came from a clerk in the Department of Agriculture and the Arts. His name was Robert W. Phipps, just a simple clerk who saw that the province needed to take steps to protect the foresting industry in order to preserve forests for the next generation. He wrote in his 1883 report that the future of forestry in the province depends on the maintenance of and ultimately the scientific management of the northern forest. So today we have a beautiful park that protects wildlife, that preserves so much natural beauty. We think that it came into existence in order to fulfill that purpose. But actually, and perhaps paradoxically, the park was conceived not to protect anything, but to make sure we could keep cutting down those trees that were needed to promote the very important lumber industry in the province's early days. The idea of managing and maintaining forests has allowed countries like Canada to have a prosperous and sustainable lumber industry. We don't always get the balance right, but we are always engaged in the discussion. We understand that we could just chop everything down at once and make a quick gain, but the long-term pain would not make such an endeavor worthwhile. Algonquin Park not only ought to be admired for its abundant natural beauty, but also because of what it represents for us as a civilization, for what it represents in the history of this province. Together, our ability to consider and to refrain, to stop, to say no, to defer an immediate gain for the well-being of future generations. Is there no greater nobility than this trait? In the 4th chapter of Pirkei Avot, Ben Zoma seems to say that there is no greater ability than this trait. Ezehu Gibor, he asks, who is mighty? Hakovesh et Yitzro. It is the one who can overcome his inclinations. As it is said, one who rules over one's own spirit is better off than one who conquers a city. We see 2,000 years ago in Ben Zoma's words that the idea of restraint, what Judaism calls overcoming one's inclinations, it goes back much, much earlier than modern environmental conservationism. It is the greatest of strengths, which can apply to so many fields and industries and situations. In Judaism, we're not just supposed to look up at the achievers and the builders and the inventors. They're not our role models. Actually, more deserving of honor are those who could have achieved but said no for good reason, who could have built but said no for good reason, who could have invented but said no for good reason. I wonder if this message, which supported the establishment of Algonquin Park 136 years ago, needs some renewal today. Today, in almost every endeavor, in every field of science and the arts, we are breaking barriers. We are mastering technologies. We are setting our sights on even more lofty goals. Forestry is child's play compared to the engines of growth in today's economy. But is all this growth good? Do we need to go back to Robert Phipps and his paper from all those years ago, who suggested that our future depends on the maintenance of and ultimately the scientific management of growth? What are we losing in this seemingly endless pursuit of growth and consumption? Is this virus a sign that we have gone too far? Actually, the concerns run much deeper than viruses and environmental destruction. Consider all the ways that we are using science to fundamentally alter what it means to be human. The relentless collection and usage of data, the endgame of which no one can accurately predict. Autonomous vehicles, weapons of war, artificial intelligence, gene editing and gene designing. These technologies clearly bring us benefits, but at the same time, they will fundamentally and perhaps irreversibly alter the experience of being human. These concerns might best be expressed in considering the impact technology has had on life expectancy, and this relates to Yizkor. Since the world was created, we have recognized that our time on earth is limited and that we have to educate our children properly because one day they're going to replace us. At Yizkor, that's exactly what we're supposed to reflect upon, what we gained from others and want to pass down ourselves. That's what human civilization is. But today, the technologists have declared that no one need die. And so the quest for immortality continues. And with cloning and other advances, we're getting closer and closer. But what kind of world is this that we are aiming for? A world without death is a world that has destroyed one of the most powerful of connections and relationships. It is a world without time and without meaning. Yizkor reminds us that death, as much as it is painful and is heart-wrenching and is miserable, death is what gives life meaning. And we ought to be grateful for it. Ben Zoma knew that there is more to life than growth and consumption without limit. True might means sometimes saying no, finding balance, making choices. And I actually think most of us admire people who can accomplish this personally, who make choices in life and dedicate themselves to one particular endeavor. We regard such people with great admiration in our world, but I don't think we necessarily value societies for making those same decisions. We still rank countries by numbers. We call them mighty because they've built big things and conquered many limits once thought unconquerable. And that brings us to Shavuot. Shavuot is Zman Matan Toratenu, the time of the giving of the Torah. On this day, thousands of years ago, our ancestors gathered together at Sinai. Here they were, newly liberated. They could do whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, and God turns to them as one, as a society, and says, no. There is no more word, there is no more important word in the Ten Commandments, or a word that appears more frequently than the word no. In that no, God was saying that humanity needs restraint, that a humanity that has no restraint, that pursues its desires without limit or relent, is not a humanity worth redeeming. So God says, don't murder because every life matters, and keep Shabbat because man is more than just a tool for productivity, and don't covet because just because you want to do something and you can do something, it doesn't mean you ought to do it. And most importantly, God says, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am the Lord your God. And if you want to worship me, then worship the things that are important to me. Value life. Value the sustainability of life on this world. And value this world, the earth as I have created it, the earth as I would like it to be sustained. Thus, I would admit that what Ben Zoma said to the individual, Shavuot says to us as a society. It says it to all of humanity. It's that same message that calls out to us from the story of the magnificent Algonquin Park. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you ought to do it. A people of holiness, a worthwhile people, is a people that makes choices, a people that can say no, that can show restraint. That message is so important to this holiday. One of the names the rabbis gave to Shavuot is Atzeret. Atzeret means stop. On this holiday, we have to think about stopping. Perhaps it is time to stop measuring ourselves by the things we conquer when we fail to weigh in with proper and considered moral reflection. Perhaps it is time to stop thinking about how we get more and start thinking more about what we're getting. Perhaps it is time to stop thinking about building and start thinking about conserving. Perhaps it is time to stop thinking of ourselves and our desire to conquer death and start thinking more about humanity and the important role that death has in giving life purpose and meaning and beauty. We can begin by dedicating these moments to reflecting on the relationships we had with those who have passed away. May their memories always inspire us. May we be grateful for the heritage they left to us, and most importantly, may we work to preserve that heritage for those who will follow. Chag Sameach. Please join with me now as we continue with the Yizkor portion of the service.
ולפעמים החגיגה נגמרת, כיבוי אורות, החצוצרה אומרת שלום לכינורות, אשמורת תיכונה נושקת לשלישית, אקום מחר בבוקר ולהתחיל מבראשית, לקום מחר בבוקר עם שיר חדש בלב, לשיר אותו בכוח, לשיר אותו בכאב, לשמוע חלילים הרוח החופשית ולהתחיל את עולמך בבוקר תמיד לברוא, האדמה, העשב וכל המאורות, ואז מן העפר בצלם האנשים, לקום מחר בבוקר ולהתחיל מבראשית, לקום מחר בבוקר עם שיר חדש בלב, לשיר אותו בכוח, לשיר אותו בכאב, לשמוע חלילים ברוח החופשית ולהתחיל מבראשית. גם אצלך החגיגה נגמרת, ובחצות הביתה אל הדרך קשה לך למצוא, מתוך החשיכה אנחנו מבקשים לקום מחר בבוקר ולהתחיל מבראשית, לקום מחר בבוקר עם שיר חדש בלב, לשיר אותו בכוח, לשיר אותו בכאב, לשמוע חלילים ברוח החופשית ולהתחיל מבראשית, לקום מחר בבוקר עם שיר חדש בלב, לשיר אותו בכוח, לשיר אותו בכאב, לשמוע חלילים ברוח החופשית ולהתחיל מבראשית.
Eternal God, amid the ceaseless tides of change which sweep away the generations, your enduring presence brings us comfort and hope. Around us are life and decay, death and renewal. The rhythm of time all things obey. Our life is a dance to a song we barely perceive. Its melody courses through us for a little while, then seems to cease. What is the source of this melody, and where does it go? In darkness as light, we turn to you, the source of life, the answer to all mysteries. This hour revives in us memories of loved ones, family, friends, companions, colleagues, and teachers who are no more. What joy we shared when, loving and loved, we walked through life together. Days or years may have passed, yet we feel near to them still. Our hearts yearn for them still. Though the bitter grief may have softened, a duller pain abides, for the place where once they stood is now empty. The links of life are broken, but the bonds of love and longing cannot break. We remember the men and women who but yesterday were part of our sacred congregation and community. To all who cared for our well-being, all whose names are engraved on our walls, all who worked for the betterment of our people and of humanity, we pay tribute. We recall with grief the martyrs of our people, who perished through the cruelty of the oppressor, victims of demonic hate, the aged and the young, the learned and the unlettered, driven in multitudes along the road of pain and pitiless death. They lie in nameless graves and far-off forests and lonely fields, and the substance of many was scattered by the winds to the earth's four corners, yet they shall not be forgotten. We take them into our hearts and give them a place beside the cherished memories of our own loved ones. They now are ours. O Lord of life, bless the memories we cherish. Those whom we recall today are gone from us, yet we are grateful for the blessings which they brought into our lives. May the sorrows we have known be softened by our sense of your infinite wisdom, your unending love, your eternal presence. We now take a moment for personal Yizkor prayers. The words can be found on your screens. Ribono shel olam, Elohei haruchot lechol basar, Master of the world, God of the spirit of all flesh, it is revealed and known before you that it is our fervent desire to praise your name and to remember and honor our beloved loved ones who have gone to their eternal rest by reciting the mourner's Kaddish in the company of a minyan. Though circumstances prevent us from doing so, may our yearning and prayers find favor in your eyes and be accepted and received before you as if we had prayed that Kaddish. May you grant hope and healing to all who suffer, and may we soon be able to once again safely gather in holiness and joy.
ישראל ואימרו מלא רחמים, שוכן במדומים, המצא מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים וטהורים וגיבורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים. לנשמות חיילי צבא הגנה לישראל ולוחמי המחתרות שנפלו במלחמות ישראל וכל הלוחמים במערכות העם שחרפו נפשם למות על קידושת השם העם והארץ ולנשמות חיילי קנדה שנפלו בתפקידי הגנה וביטחון וכל אלה שנרצחו בידי המרצחים מארגוני הטרור בעבור שנו מתפללים להירוי נשמותיהם לכן מל הרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים ויצור בצור החיים את נשמותיהם אדוני לא נחלתם בגן עדן תהיה מנוחתם וינוחו בשלום על משכבם ונאמר אמן. אל מלא רחמים שוכן במרומים דיין אלמנות וביתומים אמצא מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה במעלות קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מאירים ומסירים לנשמות ששת המיליונים אחינו ואחיותינו רבבות בני ישראל אנשים נשים וטף שנהרגו שנשחטו שנשרפו שנחנקו שנטבעו ושנקברו חיים בידי הנאצים ועוזריהם ייבח שמם ושהלכו לעולמם קידוש השם בעבור שאנו מתפללים לעילוי נשמותיהם לכן בעל הרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים ויצור בצור החיים את נשמותיהם אדוני לא נחלתם בגן עדן תהיה מנוחתם וינוחו בשלום על משכבם kavan ve'nod mare. Amen. El maled rachamim shochein b'medlomim Ambetzeh menucha nechonai tachat kanfi השכינה במעלות קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מאירים ומזהירים לנשמות חברי קהילה קדושה בית תקווה וכל אלה שהזכרנו היום לברכה שהלכו לעולמם ברור שאנו מתפללים לידוי נשמותיהם לכן בעל הרחמים יסתירם וסתר כנפיו לעולמים ויצור בצור החיים את נשמותיהם אדוני יהו נחלתם בגן עדן תהא מנוחתם ינוחו בשלום על משכבם ונאמר Eliata ve'odeka, Eliata ve'odeka, Eliata ve'odeka, Elo ayar memeka, Eliata ve'odeka, Eliata ve'odeka, Eliata ve'odeka, Elo ayar memeka. Adonai ki tov ki leolam chasdo Hodul Adonai ki tov ki leolam chasdo Hodul Adonai ki tov ki leolam chasdo Hodul Adonai ki tov ki leolam chasdo Eliata ve'odeka, Eliata ve'odeka, Eliata ve'odeka, Elo ayar memeka, Eliata ve'odeka, Eliata ve'odeka, Eliata ve'odeka, Elo ayar memeka. Hodul Adonai ki tov ki leolam chasdo Hodul Adonai ki tov ki leolam chasdo Hodul Adonai ki tov ki leolam chasdo Hodul Adonai ki tov ki leolam chasdo